How's your morning so far?
I actually forgot I was gonna go out today. It's only when you messaged na
Oh,
I'm going to Jungle Beach. I was like, oh fuck. I was in the shower, so thankfully I was in the shower. So yeah, I'm a bit caught off guard that we're here, but I'm glad I'm outside. How's your shoot yesterday? Was that yesterday?
yeah, it was yesterday. It was good. I think.
You happy with performances, shots?
I think I'm really happy with the performances and the shots. It was like I loved it. I'm really glad I got Yui and Aliona for the role because they're really good at the characters. And I think Aliona has like a lot of potential in acting, and Yui again shows that his forte, like he's really good at acting. I think my main problem is more on the fact that I have to figure out how I'm gonna shoot the next scenes, because everything else yesterday was like we did it perfectly, but it's just like I have to deal with the fact that I can't shoot in an airport. I can't. There's like a lot of like logistical problems that I have to deal with tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty hopeful.
What else do you have to shoot?
I have to shoot because so far we shot the fishbowl scene and their intro, like how they meet each other. And the next part, it's yung climax of the film, their main conversation.
Which is supposed to be where?
A park, CDC, hopefully. And the ending and the opening was planned to be an airport. But since I read a bunch of regulations that you can't shoot in an airport without a permit, I have to figure out how to shoot it. Because I don't want to cut like the entire airport scene. So the idea is that we're gonna shoot at SMT. Because at a distance in the parking lot, SMT looks like an airport.
You can always shoot it
Guerrilla
without a
style.
permit.
No, we looked it up. I checked Reddit. I checked every website. It is literally illegal. The only way you're gonna get away with it is if it's a vlog. That's not gonna be parang if your project they're gonna shoot in the airport, it's not like involves money or whatever ganyan.
Okay.
Then it's okay. So if it was just for YouTube, I could get away with it. But since it's for a film competition, I'm
What
not.
happened to your connection?
We would have to. This is more on our crew's fault. We would have to go to the airport, get permission, and then wait a week, and then shoot it. But since the deadline's on Monday, we can't really. We don't have enough time.
You have 2 shooting days? Last day tomorrow? Or 3?
Yeah, last day tomorrow.
Good luck.
But we've had worse. After being involved in making short films or doing projects, it's always going to be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
But most of the time it works out. So I have hope.
How's it being a student and a filmmaker at the same time?
At what?
Filmmaker and student. While being a student. Because when I was in college, it was the most creatively freeing thing that I could do. But I didn't really have any work. So now you're pursuing your passion projects, but I'm also giving you work.
Yeah.
Like for example, you co-directed with me in a music video, and I passed on a visualizer project to you.
Yeah.
So how has it been?
I think I can see what you mean when you were a student. It was more creatively freeing because that's what I did last year. Like all I did was make short films at least almost every month, and it was like the most like fun experience ever. But it was very taxing on my wallet. Like I had no money, and it's not something that like besides like in school everyone's like really like, oh, you made a short film, you're a filmmaker or whatever. But like of course to your parents, to your relatives, they don't take it really seriously. Yeah, and which I get. It's a passion project, and what I've been doing is I've been putting it on YouTube. I'm not doing much competitions, so I kind of get it. But now
It's getting more serious.
it's getting more serious. Like when you gave me, when you got me to co-direct the ABS-CBN with you, that was like like brainstorming that and working on it and shooting it, and then the post-production. It was really fun, but it was also, I didn't really have time for anything else.
Yeah.
I had to pick my battles. I had to choose, like, because this one, both ABS-CBN and the visualizer you gave me, I get paid in both, and I'm happy with the final product on how it looked, with the concept. But it also meant, for example, Outsider and In Between, the film I'm shooting right now, that was something I wanted to shoot 3 weeks ago. But because we had the ABS-CBN,
Got delayed.
yeah, it got delayed, and then we had the Healy thing. I didn't really have time to work on those films, so it's it's hard, because, like, on the one hand, I'm really happy with how the projects came out, but on the other hand, I'm also kind of sad that I can't do much passion stuff, because I feel like that's where I really thrive at, and it's hard. But I feel like I realized recently
Yeah.
that it's kind of the sacrifice you have to make. If you want to, you can't, like, it's possible to do both, but it's not. It's the hardest thing to ever do. So you generally have to pick one. You have to focus on one, because there's a high chance na if you do both at the same time, one of the projects will be
Mid.
mediocre. It would get ruined because your entire focus is not on that one project.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's very tiring, but it's kind of like, it's the path you choose. Like, you chose to do this. You made the bed. You might as well sleep on it, because it's like, you can't expect, like, because I remember I feel like I keep reading and seeing videos or reading posts and whatever that you should pursue your passion. Nah, if, like, you're not interested in, like, getting a high paying job, you just want to do some creative stuff, that's great. But I think what a lot of people miss is that just because it's your passion, it's your creativity, it's something you enjoy doing, doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. It's still gonna be as hard. It's still gonna be
think it's
difficult.
harder.
Yeah, it's harder, honestly. So you can't really complain that it's that hard. Like, I mean, it's understandable to, like, feel that way, but
Yeah.
it's something you have to deal with if you want to pursue this career. So
I think it applies to any career. Kasi, I wouldn't say any career, but more unorthodox careers. Na, you can say both having a corporate job and a creative job is hard, but on different levels. Like, for example, corporate job, it's hard because it's soulless, it's repetitive, it's you have a boss telling you to do things that you don't want to do. You have to comply with uniforms, schedules, like all of the things you hate about school, basically. And then you have the unorthodox creative job that you have the freedom. You have the freedom to do anything. You have the freedom to take your time, do this, blah blah blah. But the hard part about it is you're not really trained in school or in anywhere about the existential crisis you get once you start earning money from something that your soul enjoys. And it's kind of difficult trying to revert back to that childlike artistic senses that you used to have before you made money from that creative endeavor. So I feel like you know hard part about it.
There's so much pressure into it once, like, money is involved, because when it's a passion project, it's like, oh, this is like a really I'm enjoying this. I'm just telling the story I want to tell. I'm doing with the friends I like working with. When it's money, oh, I have to make sure that it works for everyone involved, and the people that are gonna consume it are gonna enjoy it. It can't flop. It has to work out. So you're more stressed out with that rather than just making sure that you're happy with it.
I don't think that's at all like 100% true. Like with money, must be pressure to make it more appealing to other people than yourself. Like sure, siguro when you're new to it, since you're new to it, may parang pressure na you want this to be loved by the masses. But I've noticed, like from past projects, like with Dilaw, I never really cared how the public would perceive it. I just know I would love it.
Yeah.
And that went really good. Because when you like it, even though you're not sure if everyone will like it, everyone will like it. Also, I don't really like some of the projects I made. I'm not gonna say which because
Yeah.
but when dahil nga nag-success yung Dilaw and more money was involved, just like you were saying, then I got pressure because I was new to make things that appeal more to the public, which resulted in not as much success in the recent work that I made. Not a lot of success in the numbers, and I wasn't creatively fulfilled. So I'm trying to revert back. That's why I haven't accepted a lot of works. I've been getting a lot of work opportunities, and I've been passing it on to other people. For example, you. And I haven't made YouTube videos like for like a month because I'm trying to like
Readjust.
readjust like my point of view when it comes to art. Because and the film we made recently with EJ was like really big like push towards that.
It was really like just shooting that film was like it was so beautiful. Like I feel like something like reawakened inside, because the fact that it was just like the four of us and we were essentially like alone working on this. Like we were like a four-man prod
In a mountain.
but in the mountain we were climbing up, but it was like it helped that the view was beautiful and the story was like really engaging. It was like really powerful, and I don't know, like just making sure the film works out and it's just being us. There's just something really beautiful about that, and I really it made me want to do like fully do Outsider again because of that experience.
It's just the way EJ writes and directs. It's kind of like reminds me of who I was before getting into the work part of the industry. Parang I used to really enjoy like slow cinema, and my work had a lot of statements towards like mental health or minorities and laging advocacy. But ever since I started getting more work with, let's say, like mainstream, like ABS-CBN, Star Music, I've started to filter it, which is not what art is, I think.
Yeah.
Art should be filtered. So yeah, it really helped yung film ni EJ.
It is.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I also like I reevaluated a lot of stuff when we did the ABS-CBN, because we didn't write the story.
Yeah,
we adapted it,
the story.
and it made me really evaluate on the way I write and how I like it made me kind of change my view, because usually I'm always the one writing my films. I've never gotten, like, the most I got were co-writers.
Yeah.
And even in the, let's say, You're Gone, I at least wrote the story. So I've never directed something or adapted something that wasn't my own work. So it made me really, it was really interesting to like learn how to deal with that, because as someone who grew up reading books, comics, I'd always complain about oh, the movie didn't get it right.
Yeah.
Like they missed the point and whatever. And now after doing that, I'm like, okay, I kind of realized like the struggle of having to adapt something that was specific for
A book.
a
Or
book,
novel,
and then you'd have to adapt it, and especially for us, we had to adapt it to a music video.
Which is way harder, I
Yeah,
think, than
honestly.
adapting it to a narrative.
Yeah.
Christ.
Now, and it made me really interested in like, I don't know, like there's something that clicked in my mind that made me really on how I'm like a lot of the stories before. I remember when I did my films until 50, you told me a lot of my films were very objective. There was like a clear like point of the story.
There were no metaphors.
Yeah. So you told me that try to do something that's inherently subjective, and I made Mary and the Ghost, which is honestly one of my best works, and it made me like Mary and the Ghost. It made me want to do more subjective stuff, but I think after doing this music video, made me interested in like how do I tell different kinds of stories in different kinds of settings, like do it in a way that's not like usual for me, because the music video made me figure out, okay, how the fuck am I gonna tell this long story, the story that takes a span of a month,
Yeah.
and like squeeze it down and make
Into
it
3
work.
minutes.
Yeah, so
Which we made into 6 minutes.
we made it 6 minutes.
Instead
We
of
really
3
tried,
minutes,
but
yeah.
it wasn't possible. But it made me really interested in like, okay, I feel like if that was like a really big challenge for us, I'd like to try more challenges. I feel like I think my problem with writing at the moment is that while I'm happy with the stories I'm trying to tell so far in the scripts I've made, they're still narratively, like the sequencing are too similar to my past films. So I want to
get
do
that.
like something that makes me challenge my brain, because I get too it's too comfortable at the moment.
I get that. It's like when I start to write, like my defaults are romance, heartbreak, coming of age.
Yeah.
That's it. When I try to write horror, I have a horror script
Yeah.
that I'm too afraid to make, because I don't know why I'm afraid to make it.
You're the one you told me about before, right?
Yeah. It tackles on, it's just the horror genre, but it tackles on grief and suicide. Maybe I should push for it.
I feel like it would be really interesting because you just came off. Last year you did Dilaw, and then you did the trilogy.
Yeah.
I feel it would be really interesting. Like your next project is a straight up horror, like something very different from. I think that would be really interesting to see.
What's funny is it's horror genre. It's about grief and it's about suicide, but it's also about a relationship.
Hey, what's your problem? What's your problem, man?
I don't know. It's either that relationship, heartbreak, fucking coming of age, or something existential about art.
Yeah.
And it sounds so pretentious all the time whenever I write it. It's like, what is my purpose in life? What is art's purpose?
What am I?
Is it self-indulgent, or does it serve an advocacy? Most of the time it's self-indulgent.
I feel like I have the opposite problem right now, because I've written scripts that are like way different than everything I've done, but it's the logistical problem. It's a money problem, because I've always grown up loving films that are like high concept. They're like, oh, it's a very simple story, but like it's brought up with like big elements, and it's always something I've always been drawn to, but it is not possible to do at the moment.
Possible, bro.
We'll see.
Possible. I just think you need to keep the concept, simplify how you shoot it. Like for example in KEJ, like one scene, one shot.
Yeah. I was actually thinking, because I was developing a sci-fi film. I think at that time, a few days before, I watched Seven Samurai, and I became obsessed with it because of like most of it just being each scene is just like one camera just following or stationary, and I feel like that's something I could do
Yeah.
but it would just be to maintain the sci-fi element. It would take a lot of time into building the props and to make it work. And I feel like I feel like you're right. It's possible, but it will take a lot of time and effort. So I would have to dedicate some time to it, and hopefully I some time opens up for me to do that. But it's third year, so I feel like I
you guys
gotta
have
wait.
a thesis to do.
I think this year we have to do a variety show,
Yeah.
and a mag show.
Yeah. This photography first sem, second sem is film.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a good professor. I'm not gonna be that.
Fuck.
Hopefully you have a good professor. Because if you have a bad professor, you get like the last year, you're required to do a short film that's like 45 to 50 minutes long, or you get a narcissist professor that wants you to criticize his own work. So
I have hope. We'll see. But I feel like
what if it's what if it's nah, never mind.
we almost said. Did you say EJ?
I was gonna say what if it's EJ, but that's gonna be like the best
Yeah, that's like best case scenario.
case scenario.
That's not gonna happen. It's too much of a good thing. But I feel like I've been trying to purposely putting myself into like situations for shoots or like stuff that I know is gonna be, because after like doing some corporate stuff, I realized that I've been too comfortable with the way I work, because since I work with friends, there's not a lot of like pressure.
Yeah.
Not really pressure, but like and
Did you feel pressured to a music video?
I definitely felt pressured, especially I think when we were brainstorming, I was like having a lot of fun because it was just us working. It was just us in a cafe throwing out ideas, seeing what works, and then the meetings. I didn't feel pressured because I feel like just like your normal meetings.
like school.
It's just like school. But when you get to set and you just see a bunch of people, that's when the pressure hits, and I'm like, okay, I'm a 21-year-old man. I can't believe I'm here. But I'm glad I got to experience it. And I realized that I gotta put myself into more uncomfortable scenarios so I can really push myself to be able to work harder and be able to adapt to different situations. I feel like that was my biggest problem last year, because I feel like as much as like I'm happy I made those short films, it didn't really like push my boundaries.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should do more so I can like, because once college is over, straight to work, I don't really have a choice. I gotta figure that out, and I don't wanna be figuring shit out while trying to deal with the fact that I'm living on my own. I'm having So yeah.
I had that same fear. After college, you're gonna have to go straight to work. You won't experience life, which is true. Pero maybe you can strike gold in your first year or year and a half of working, and you can get some rest. Because as soon as I graduated, I went straight to work. Worked on fashion films, music videos, blah blah blah, advertisements. But now, since I haven't made a film in months, I haven't made a YouTube video in a month, and my last music video was last month as well. Haven't really been working at all. Picked up a new hobby, bouldering.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I miss bouldering.
Yeah, I can spend money on myself better, because that day I used to earn I still earn a lot of money, but I never spent it on myself because I was like, man, why do I gotta enjoy? Like I gotta lock in.
Oh yeah.
I can't spend money on food or like other hobbies.
And now it's like
It's much better now because I've put myself away from work, from YouTube, and started to just live life. Because I read somewhere as well that in order to make art, you have to live life. So you have to like connect with people, connect with yourself, with the world. And I feel like I'm in a better place mentally now to continue. I also read something that you shouldn't treat art like artists should not treat their work like how athletes treat themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you're not supposed to
Like the grind mindset.
Yeah. You're supposed to take your time with yeah.
I feel like
Because athletes have a prime.
yeah.
They can siguro their prime is before they hit 30. And artists only start to become like, for example, directors start only becoming good when they're like 40.
Yeah.
They got to live life. So
I feel like that's why a lot of I've been noticing a pattern in the industry since like the early 2000s, where you would have like, oh, here's the young hotshot director, and because they made a bunch of great independent films,
yeah.
and then as soon as they hit Hollywood, they would do a couple of like either mediocre or
That's
bad
how I
films.
felt
And
when I got the ABS.
Tapos like they just disappear off like the face of the earth because they didn't really get to enjoy. They were like unfocused on the fact na I gotta keep making more projects and projects, and then eventually they just like either left the industry or went back to independent.
May ano rin kasi may idea rin kasi na parang fame is fleeting. So, lalo na these days with social media, parang fame is only like, everyone gets their 5 minutes of fame every now and then. So you kind of have this pressure and you have to make the most out of it, capitalize on it, make money out of it, until eventually people don't give a shit about you anymore and you can go back to your normal life. Yeah.
It's man. I feel like that's like the worst thing that can happen for like I feel like I noticed this for a lot of me included, for a lot of student filmmakers. Once we get that like moment of fame, we feel like we're a hot shot. We're like, okay, we gotta keep like building on this fame and whatever. And then you realize like you have an image, and then you realize like people just like that film.
Yeah, people just like that film.
Yeah. They're not gonna spray paint your name on walls or whatever. You're not Fincher. You're not Fincher. You're not
Lynch. You're not
Lynch.
Scorsese.
You're not Scorsese. You're not Lucas. You're none of them. You gotta what do you call this? You get that moment of fame, and then just work on your stuff, or just like enjoy life. You don't have to like get on that grind. Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest. I know we joke a lot about like we gotta lock in or whatever. Yeah. And there's like times we gotta lock in, but like
we're lazy sometimes.
Yeah, we're like
play video games.
Someone has to like slap us out of that. Yeah. But even then, sometimes you just gotta enjoy it, because if you don't like, I feel like if you don't enjoy life for a bit, everything becomes so frustrating to do, because it feels like you have a set path to follow,
and the path is not linear, but you think it should be linear. That's why